All right, so here I have a shot put implement. This is a high school shot put. Boys high school shot put is 12 pounds. Girls high school shot put is a 4K, which is 8.5 pounds. I'm gonna enter the circle and I'm gonna go into a power throw position. I'm left-handed, so I will be facing the circle here. I'm going to align my body properly, close to the line. If I had a toe board, my foot would be against the toe board. I'm going to put the shot put on my neck, making sure that I'm not holding it like a baseball. I'm closing my fingers, and it's as if I'm shooting a basketball, but sideways when I release the shot put. Fingers are closed, shot put is being held by my thumb. If I move my thumb out of the way, the shot put will fall out of my hand. All right, so I want to use the trajectory to flick the shot put out of my hand to get where I need to get. So I'll align myself. I'll make sure that my left foot is slightly in front of my right so that I'm not blocking my left hip. That will allow my left hip to be able to come all the way around and for me to follow through. If I leave my left foot behind, then I will be blocking my left hip and I won't be able to get the full throw all the way through. All right, so I'm here, get myself in a power position, eyes back, creating the separation from my lower body and my upper body. Lower body is facing to the side, upper body is facing back. Once I am in that position, then I'm going to pivot my hips, throw my lower body first, and then let it follow through with my upper body. Elbow is going to be up at all times. If I drop my elbow, I will end up throwing the shot put like a baseball, which will also, and I will also take it off of my neck, and now I'm putting more pressure onto the arm as opposed to being able to drive the shot put all the way out. All right, so here, rotation. Again, get the implement. This is a power throw. Okay? If I'm right-handed, here, I would have my right foot slightly in front. Shot put will be in my right hand. Create separation. I'm gonna pivot and throw. All right, so my dominant hand is obviously my right. My left hand, so that's the side I'm going to predominantly stay on. So that's a power throw. Now, if I want to transition into a glide, all right, I'm going to create a straight line and I'm going to land in a power throw, and then I'm still going to pivot and then follow through. So I would go to the back of the circle. I would use up as much of the circle as I can. Shot put will be in my hand. Remember, fingers closed, elbow up, eyes back, find a point, make sure that I elevate and I'm driving through and then I'm landing. Boom. And I'm landing in a good power position, and then I'm pivoting and pushing. All right. Again, I'm going to pull through, land in a good power position, pivot and push. Back when I was in high school, I used to say pull and post, all right? And the post basically is just letting me get the concept of making sure that I use the brake leg in the front. It's just like driving a car. If you're driving a car 100 miles an hour and you hit the brake, everything in the car is gonna go forward, all right? So my front leg is my brake leg, and I also have a brake arm, which is my right arm, that I'm gonna use on that side of my body to be able to stop everything, which will then propel the shot put forward. So I would pull and post. All right. Now, if I am doing a rotation, if I'm a rotational thrower, now I have more steps. All right. There's more error in doing a rotation, but if you can hit your march properly, you will have an effective throw if you can hit your marks properly. All right, so the first movement in being a rotational thrower is the power throw position, which I illustrated earlier. The second movement is a back step. If I was doing a back step as a rotational thrower, I would start with my left foot. If you're right-handed, you would start with your right foot along this corner, but in the middle of the circle. So I'm along the corner, my foot is pointing to the corner, and I'm going to pivot. It's called a back step because I'm leading with my back. So I'm gonna pivot around, and then I'm gonna push. So I'm pivoting around into a power throw position, and then I'm going to push from the ground and use my block arm and my brake leg to get as much force as I can. So this is once again called a back step. So I'd be here, I have my foot pointed to the corner, I'm gonna pivot and push. All right, pivot and push. Now, that's the second step. So the pivot will put me into a power throw position, and then I'm going to throw the implement. So now I'm gonna go back even further into the third step, because there's 4 phases to the rotational throw. The third step is called, some people call it a South Africa, all right? And it's basically driving to the middle, right? Driving to the middle, and then, which is gonna put me in a back step, and then I'm going to go from the back step into a power throw and follow all the way through. All right, so I would be here. I would stand here, and I'm going to drive into the middle, which would put me back into a back step. Then I'm going to pivot, and then I'm going to push. All right, so this is the third phase. I would stand on this corner. This is going to push me outside of the circle, but this is helping me to work on my whip and my drive. I'm going to elevate up, get back down on the ground as fast as I can, and then push through. So when people talk about spinning in the circle, you're actually not really spinning. You're doing a turn and a run. All right, you'll see what I mean when I do the full spin. But this is South Africa. Ball will be here, coming back. I'm going to rotate through the middle, and I'm going to pivot and throw. Back, pivot and throw. All right, so once again, I'm in a South Africa position. I'm already out of my first turn. I'm gonna push to the middle. Once I hit the middle, I have to continue to rotate. Into the pivot and then push. All right, in a full rotation, I would start from the back. Feet shoulder width apart, get a nice bend in my knees. If you're right-handed, you would be rotating this way, going into your pivot position or your back step position. Continue to rotate, pivot, and push. I'm left-handed, so I'll be rotating this way to the middle, then pivoting, and then pushing. Make sure to get your right foot out of the way, or if you're right-handed, make sure you get your left foot out of the way so that it doesn't block the opposite hip from coming through. So I'd be here, shot put on the neck, fingers closed, using this wrist as the push point. I would get closed, and I would open the hips first, because the lower body should always win the race. The lower body always wins the race. So the lower body will go first. Then I'll rotate, push, all the way through. All right, once again, I'll be back here. I will rotate, right in the middle, pivot, woo! Make sure that foot is out of the way, and continue to push to the front. One more time. It's a turn and a run. This is what I'm talking about. It's a turn and a run. Get in position, keep the block arm closed until you're ready to throw the shot put, and then you pull and push. All right, now, doing the discus. Notice when I threw the shot put, I went over the glide phase first, and now I'm going to go into the discus. The difference is, with the discus, obviously you're holding the implement differently. The high school girl discus weighs 1.0 kilograms. High school boys discus, and you can see the difference here, is 1.6 kilograms. And the college discus for boys is 2.0 kilograms. All right, the implements do not change for high school girls. All the way up through college, all the way up through the Olympics. implements. All right, you can get opportunities to go to college, get opportunities to go to the highest level. For boys, it's a little bit more challenging because you have to be able to adjust to the size and the weight of the implement, which is fine. You just got to get the proper work, you got to get the proper training, you got to get the proper development, all right, to make sure that you can accomplish those goals. So, the rotational technique and the shot put and discus are very similar, okay? Now, the discus circle is a little bit bigger, so you get a little bit more area to work with, and you need to be able to work the area, all right? Don't crouch yourself. Allow yourself to expand, allow yourself to be tall, allow yourself to be big so that you can use that centrifugal force well, all right? So instead of going back through the power phase and the backstep phase, I'm gonna go straight into a full rotation, okay, with the discus. So now that we know what the 4 different phases are. So I'm gonna throw the girls discus first. I'm gonna go through a full rotation. Remember, I'm turning into a South Africa. I'm pushing and I'm running to the middle of the circle. Once I land, I'm gonna continue to pivot the hip towards the back, all the way around, and then I'm gonna hit the brake in the front with the right leg and the right arm, and then elevate. If you're right-handed, you will go into the South Africa. In this direction, you would run to the middle of the circle, keep the head up, keep the chin up, keep the block arm closed, all right? Because once the block arm is brought out the way, the discus or the implement is gonna wanna come out of your hand. So keep that block arm closed, pivot that hip around, keep that block arm closed until you're ready to go, and then you hit that brake, rotate, and then you throw. All right? Let's have some fun. Yeah. I need a little bit more thumb pressure on that. This is kind of lifted a little bit. Thumb pressure allows the discus to stay down and stay flat so that you get the rotation that you need. If you don't have enough thumb pressure, the discus can start lifting depending on the wind and how it's going and things like that. All right? This is the last throw. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want some more information, reach out to me. I'm an athletic developer. I can train you in any sport that you do. I'm going to prepare you mentally and physically, and you can continue to grind until you shine, all right? Here we go. All right. Thank you guys very much. Salute, EX3. Peace.